This is Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor, and it's always great to get guests in the studio with us to talk about some great events that are going to be coming up. And with us right now is Justin Williams, who is founder and CEO of Startup Tucson, to find out a little bit about, number one, what Startup Tucson is all about and a great event that's coming up. Justin, thanks for being on Tech Talk Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Tell us about this event that's coming up on the 21st of October.
Yeah, so starting October 21st, we are launching year 2 of an innovation festival we call TenWest. TenWest is similar, if your listeners are familiar with South by Southwest in Austin. It's a nice anchor. It's a festival focused on technology, entrepreneurship, the arts, and community. It's built upon another event that we run during the week called Idea Funding. It's a day-long set of events helping entrepreneurs identify how to raise funding and develop their business, whether you're pitching to an angel investor, venture capital, or getting a loan, or doing crowdfunding, or a whole bunch of other educational talks. And from Idea Funding, we built out an array of content throughout the week that weaves in a music festival, Dusk, the Tucson Film Festival, TEDx Tucson, an event, a variety of concerts that and technology and innovation talks that are woven all throughout the week. So it's really a festival designed to build and foster vision for the future of discovering the next Tucson, as we like to say.
Well, and how is Tucson? How is Tucson as bringing new business in? I mean, is this really a great environment for new companies to come to?
It's an enormously talented community. We have some tremendous assets. We are actually on, I think, the beginning of a really powerful curve that is growing the ability for entrepreneurs to identify Tucson as a community where they want to build and grow. And one of the key assets is the University of Arizona. It's this huge attractor of talent from around the world, brings that talent here to Tucson. And it's the students that have graduated from there, stayed here in Tucson, that create a lot of the companies that are built here, a lot of the jobs that are here. And with that background, they build a vision for innovating the future of our society and of our own business community here in Tucson.
Well, it makes a really good point, too, is how do you keep somebody who has gone and gotten the entire education, received the entire education from the U of A, to not leave and not go to Washington or any of the other states where you see a lot of these tech companies and other companies growing. How do we keep them here?
Yeah, it's an interesting mix of activities and opportunity, right? So a student who's graduating from computer science and can go to Silicon Valley or really get a job anywhere in the country, around the world, what's going to keep them here? Well, a vision of what they can do and contribute in a town that's emerging like Tucson is right now, with the emergence of downtown and a lot of the companies that are starting to move into Tucson for all the great things that we have. When a student, I myself was a student, came in, lived my life on campus, and planned to leave at the end. And I got a little bit of exposure to the Tucson community on my own and invested myself here over the years. And a festival like TenWest is designed to pull students and innovative minds from around our community together throughout downtown and connect them around what they find in common. So the creative culture, whether that's music or film, technology, whether that's the arts, all of those things are key pieces of the culture and the fabric that will attract and retain someone in the next generation of young, talented people. So
we're not talking just business, and we're talking fun. I mean, there's going to be a lot of activities that are centered around having a good time.
Yeah, so anyone who buys a passport, the passport is $35, and it gets you into all of our core events that we are putting on. So that's about 60 talks throughout the week. Gets you access to Idea Funding, which is a venture education program for companies looking to build and grow, entrepreneurs that have an idea. Gets you access to the pitch event that we do that night, which is called Get Started Tucson. It's in partnership with Cox Business, Inc. Magazine, and Startup Tucson.
Wow.
We're giving away that night $25,000 in a pitch competition to one of 8 companies. And the idea is it's similar to Shark Tank. Cox Business has been hosting this event for the last couple of years. We've hosted Idea Funding for the last 20 years. And we brought these two together to really strengthen through a collaboration, the ability to offer larger prizes and really support the growth of high growth startups that are starting to emerge here in Tucson.
Now, Justin, I know you've been around for a bit. You've seen a lot of companies come into the area. Has there been some that you've said, wow, it's good. It's good that this company is here because they're going to bring, number one, employment and some great minds to Tucson?
So some of your listeners may have seen an article this weekend on Samsung having moved into Tucson and a company called Smart Things. Mm-hmm. That was actually the result of a U of A alumni who founded a company and through a partnership acquisition, in essence, began to build a new company called Smart Things with that new founder. Smart Things was acquired a year ago by Samsung for $250 million.
Amazing.
And they opened their office in downtown right before they were acquired for the purpose of investing in our community. And it's and so it's a technology company that allows you to have phone-enabled hardware in your house so you can turn it on and off your lights from home. There's a whole world of Internet of Things style technology that they build. They have launched their customer and prototyping offices in downtown Tucson. And you're seeing more and more of that. There's another company your listeners might hear about on the radio doing a partnership with the U of A athletics department, finding parking in downtown called Metropia.
Yes.
They actually launched at our first ever event in 2011 and have been building and growing throughout the country, but they've been able to stay here in Tucson. Year over year, we're seeing one company after another launch and grow and invest in identifying how do they build and grow a $25 million a year company. And that's one of the visions that Startup Tucson brings through our venture accelerator program. And it's one of the reasons why this Get Started Tucson pitch event is so important, because access to capital in this region and helping those nascent or emerging companies, an extra $25,000 is going to go a long way to the right company. And we're taking applications for that right now.
Now, how do they get involved in that? If somebody listening wants to be a part of this.
So if you've got a company and you see it as a company that you see significant opportunity for growth, not that you're necessarily going to stay a 1 or 2 person company, that you really see the opportunity for significant, ambitious growth, I recommend that all of those entrepreneurs apply. It's the website is coxblue.com/getstartedtucson.
Right.
Applications are due by October 17th. The form to apply is modest. It's one page, about 7 questions. It's a reflection on your business. Who's your customer? What problem are you solving? Why are you unique? A number of things that are going to help us understand which of the, I think we've got maybe 25 or 50 applications so far. We're looking for the right 8 companies to put on stage on Thursday night, October 27th, with Inc. Magazine and Cox Businesses, 2 of our strategic partners.
That's great getting the coverage out of Inc. Magazine as well, because it could be really good for the area.
Yeah, and having national profile partners in the work that we're doing, Cox Business out of Atlanta, Inc. Magazine obviously out of New York. They're doing this because Tucson is one of those communities that's emerging on the national scene as an entrepreneurial ecosystem and as a cultural center where young, talented people like to go and be part of a thriving young community.
I was at a pitch event at the Consumer Electronics Show this past year, and I got to tell you, it was nerve-wracking. I could tell for everybody that was getting up there. Is it the same kind of competitiveness? Is it that same, this is my first time making a pitch. I really want, because this could mean funding for a company.
Yep, absolutely. So we had an information session last week, and you could tell the intensity of the attendees wanting to know get as many answers to as many questions as they could, asking if they could sit down and run through the pitch with them. Like, we're not going to be able to spend that amount of time with each of the applicants, but if you take the time to read through the application initially, spend some time reading through and thinking about the questions and the direction we give you, and then coming back and completing it thoughtfully. We've got some great judges who are going to be there picking the final 8 and then picking the winners on October 27th.
Now, if I'm somebody and I follow a lot of business and I'd like to attend some of these seminars, how do I do this, and what is the cost?
Yeah, so everything happening during this week is accessible through the TenWest Passport. You can go online to tenwest.com, TenWest.com and apply for or buy a passport.
Mm-hmm.
The passport gets you into everything that we've built, and it gets you discounts on our partnered events. So if you go there, buy your passport, you get into just about everything. Our partners include the Tucson Film Fest and Dusk Music Festival, along with our sponsor partners like Cox Business, the Arizona Commerce Authority, and it gets you into idea funding and Get Started Tucson as well.
Now, Justin, for a lot of our listeners that are not too familiar with collabs, I've seen a lot of collabs opening up in the Tucson area. Can you kind of maybe explain a little for them what that all means?
Yeah, so Collab is the workspace that we operate in downtown. It's a shared collaborative working space, about 10,000 square feet. We in particular focus on having a low barrier to entry for early stage startups. We also have service providers and other companies that are part of our community. If you have a laptop and you're trying to build, if you're a software developer or just an entrepreneur, we're looking to get some work done in downtown, we have free drop-ins each day. And so that's our program. We also run a variety of other events that are very similar. To help support the entrepreneurial culture, we run a program every Wednesday morning called 1 Million Cups, where an entrepreneur can pitch their business for a panel of mentors to get feedback and direction on how to build or grow or scale their business, whether it's an early stage brand new idea or whether it's a business that you're trying to reinterpret what your barriers are.
Mm-hmm.
So those sorts of programs are offered, and it's part of that culture that we're building inside ours. There's other co-working spaces like Connect Co-working that's also in downtown. There's a variety of other ones that have emerged, and it's really this sort of shared economy that is a bit more. This is the real estate version of it. How do you rent a desk rather than an entire office? How do you share the resources with other people that you are not currently co-employed by, right?
And then maybe put more of your capital into your actual, investment into what you're coming up with.
Yeah, but you're also all of that is true. But I think the real value is that you are living amongst a community and working amongst a community of entrepreneurial minds who are thinking about creative ways to solve problems, and that is a really critical element of fostering this long-term growth of our innovation economy. These are things called collisions, right? Creative collisions.
Right.
How do you bring two people together? Because the exchange of ideas, the two different perspectives, the diversity of thought that they bring to a conversation can really impact the direction that you take your company or you take your project or product. And so that's a huge piece of what TenWest is about, is bringing together people from the arts, from the music, from film, from technology, from entrepreneurship, all of those together to foster that fabric between them that is a big reason why Silicon Valley grows the way it does, that sort of the emerging communities, even in the middle of America, like Austin, Texas.
Right.
It's not really where you're physically located anymore. The internet has turned the entire economy into a distributed environment, the global environment. It's really about what ideas and ability to take action do you bring, and that is really tied to education and skills and a desire, a drive to do something new and important. And that's something that we see as a critical strategy for fostering the long-term growth of our economy, is to foster that culture here in Tucson.
Very cool. Startup Tucson, a venture community. They get more information about Startup Tucson at startuptucson.org. And of course, they want to find out all about TenWest. What really is the best site for them to go to? Is it Startup Tucson?
Yeah, if you can go to Startup Tucson and find out all this. If you want to buy a passport, tenwest.com. And if you want to apply, it's coxblue.com/getstartedtucson.
And once again, want to thank Cox Communications too, because they've been a big supporter of this as well.
Cox is an enormous investor in our community.
Well, Justin Williams, thank you so much for coming on Tech Talk Radio. So much to learn from Startup Tucson, a venture community. Once again, we look forward to talking to you in the near future.
Thanks, Andy. It was great to see you in person.